So Lucas Robinson, tell me about yourself.
Aaron, well, first of all, thank you for coming to my house.
Cool.
I moved to Sacramento 10 years ago. I've been in business for 17 years. When I moved to Sacramento, I had been kind of bouncing around. Me and my wife, we had traveled for the first 10 years of our marriage. Since we have an online business, we would kind of do generally 3 to 6 months, different locations. And then we had a daughter. And so when she was born, we stayed in Florida for the first year because our only grandparents were in Florida. And then we told the grandparents that the ultimate plan was to be in California. And we've moved here, been here ever since.
Wow, that's awesome. And what's your business?
Have an e-commerce business. Our flagship website's budgetmailboxes.com, where we sell U.S. Post Office mailboxes. We also sell like street lights and a few other products, but I'd say the lion's share of our business is actually the mailbox business.
And your main customer is usually postal services, or
primarily we track our core customer segments. So builders, developers, are core customers. Also property managers, association management companies, probably our top 3 customers, and then obviously businesses that are just putting mailboxes out in front of their office. But the repeat customers that we really focus on are those good property managers, HOA management companies, and builders, because they're always needing new mailboxes for their new providers.
So they're responsible for providing their own mailboxes then.
That's right.
I did not know that. I thought Postal Service provided those.
There are a lot of nuances in there. Once upon a time, I think the post office did provide a lot of the cluster boxes. In fact, if you see old cluster boxes that are gray, that was generally the symbol that the post office provided it. And then the sandstone color, which is what you see most of now, those are public that were provided by the customer. And so a little bit of a kind of inside baseball there is that if you see a gray one, the post office likely put it there. If it's sandstone, then the developer or the builder put it.
That's really cool. Okay, so tell me about the origins of your business. I mean, I would have never thought about getting into a business like that.
Right. So right out of college, I thought I was going to go to law school. I took my LSAT, but I'd had a summer business, and I'd done that through college. I had shaved ice and hot dog carts throughout Panama City Beach, and I had a professor that said, Lucas, you should probably just do some business the other 9 months of the year. Don't go to law school, because you're going to come out in debt. He's like, start over from scratch, and you got a good little thing going. So with that, what I think in hindsight was really good advice, I was looking for what I could do the other 9 months out of the year. And in 2005, everyone and their brother thought they were a developer because the housing was such a crazy thing. And so I found that I could sell mailboxes. I found this niche opportunity where there were developers, and they didn't really have a plan for their development. So I actually kind of put together a pitch, and I was interested in development. I knew some people who were doing it. So put together a pitch like, I'll do your mailboxes, your street lights, your marquees, and build you like a themed community. And it was a real hit. I did that for 2005, 6, 7. I ended up with an office in Florida and Atlanta, had really grown it up pretty decent in about 2.5 years. And then the housing crisis happened in 2007, whatever, about March or so of 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Every project came to a screeching halt, and very quickly realized that I was going to have to do something else. So I pivoted and figured what product could I sell online. And I remember the day that I Googled how to build a website, and I eventually ended up hiring someone to build a website because I couldn't do it, and built budgetmailboxes.com.
Interesting. That is so cool. And where's the business now as far as size, scope, locations?
Yeah. So, I'd say we're number one reseller of those cluster boxes, and as well as like residential boxes. About 78% of our business is commercial boxes. So that's like the cluster boxes you see in neighborhoods or what you see in a lobby of a building. So we're the number one dealer in the country of those commercial boxes. And then we sell a lot of the residential, but Home Depot and Lowe's, they probably sell more than us. But for like pure online sales, us and mailboxes.com, who I'm very friendly with those guys. We're the leader sellers of those products online. We have 27 U.S. employees, another 25 that work globally. We have a team in the Philippines, a team in Sri Lanka, a team in Pakistan, and then some contractors around. And so a pretty spread out team. Used to have an office here in Sacramento.
Right.
And we closed that office in COVID. We actually leased an office the January 1 of 2020. It's a terrible time to lease an office. And so, I only had that lease for a year or so. But so now we're all spread out. And we sell some street lights and other things too, but primarily the mailboxes is the bread and butter.
So basically, from an outsider coming in, if they were to look at your business, they'd have to say that your business is really a big cluster.
It is a big cluster. It is. That's funny. It is. I like to think of it as an e-commerce business, and the mailboxes are the widget. And we tell our company's mission is just to understand how e-commerce works and how it's evolving, and so we can sell other things. And so that's really our mission as a business, is to just be able to sell other things. And so we have our own. We have a brand of a mailbox called Bobby that we rep in the U.S. So here we are building, it's a modern mailbox. So trying to build that muscle as a brand, like how do we build our own line and promote that brand? And so just building that skill. And we think a lot about what skills do we have, what capabilities do we have, and when it's online, it's moving fast, and if you're not on top of it.
So you're seeking vertical integration right now, trying to look at the manufacturing side of things.
Some specifically on that, like a niche, like a modern mailbox line. The cluster box is unique because there's only 3 licensed manufacturers of the cluster box in the U.S. and the USP owns the patent on those boxes.
Wow!
And so they have to license it. And because I'm kind of in cahoots with the major manufacturers with regards to like dealing their products, if I were to become a manufacturer, I'd probably shoot myself in the foot.
Right.
So I'm not trying to pursue that. But building vertical integration with like a niche product line, like a modern mailbox line, that's something that we're doing.
Very cool. Tell me about family. What's family life for you, Lucas?
So I have 3 daughters, twin 8-year-olds and a 10-year-old. She'll be 11 this month. And they all go to school here in El Dorado Hills, a little school over here, and Marble Valley Academy here in El Dorado Hills. My wife and I've been married for over 20 years. She's a stay-at-home mom. We've lived here. We have a little micro ranch out here in El Dorado Hills.
Beautiful. Got
a couple of cows and a few farm animals, and trying to raise my kids. The idea was to raise them with a little work ethic, little chores, what those are. And I'm still working on that. Like getting my kids to, and just what it is to. They're amazing, but making sure I laugh because like they're not out changing the chicken coop or anything, which is kind of was the inspiration. But we'll see. They do get their hands dirty and they help garden and stuff. We have a garden that we maintain, and so there's a lot of time spent outside.
Where'd you and your wife meet?
I met my wife when I was 14 years old, and first grade period class at school when I was in 7th grade.
Really? Yeah. First period class, 7th grade.
Yeah.
And
first day of school.
Were you dating the whole time after that, or?
I did go on a couple of dates with my wife during high school. We were primarily friends, and then first week of college, I ran into her after not seeing her for probably 6 months, and we went out on a date that morning. We skipped school, which was far for the course for us, and we went to breakfast, and we've been dating and married ever since.
That's amazing. That's so cool. That's awesome. Tell me, you've been a member of EO for how long now?
Gosh, I'm guessing somewhere like 7 or 8 years. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah.
And what has EO done for your journey? And tell me about your experience with EO thus far.
So, EO has been really great, not just for meeting people, which, having a remote business and, living a little bit outside of town, it's nice to have a network built in of folks. So there's that. But I've also met a lot of smart folks who getting to see what they're doing in their business and how they're managing their business, and getting introduced. Even some of the sponsors at EO have been a great asset to me. These EO implementers like Craig Hedrich, who we work with. Just a lot of good, huge, great network there. But also the people, and some of my closest friends are in EO, and I wouldn't trade anything for that. So on the list of things that I'd probably say friends and relationships, and then there's business, and then there's just overall business, network connections.
Yeah. That's cool. How were you first introduced to EO, and what were your first impressions when you first ran across it?
First introduction was Jacob Azevedo, who became a friend. He said, "Hey, I'm part of a group. You should join it. We should take a look at it." I'd say my first look at it was like, "What is this? What is this organization that seems to be a little bit secretive?" Yeah. And the more I looked at it, like, oh, okay, I began to understand kind of the values behind it. And it's really didn't take me long to decide I want to join, mainly just because I saw the caliber of people who were involved.
Cool. Man, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to see you today. Thanks for being our spotlight. For those of you in the audience, this is a sweet victory for me because I was the communications chair a couple of years ago and pursued Lucas to be our spotlight. He's such a humble, quiet guy. He, eschewed the spotlight multiple times. And I told him that one day I was gonna catch up to him. And sure enough, here I am the second time around, and it's a pleasure to interview you again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Looking forward to serving on the board with you this year.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Thanks, sir.